Caribbean, the island of Malay. Hello boys and girls, my name is Jeroen, if that's too hard to pronounce for you, you can call me Jay or Jerry, and welcome to this English commentary video of The Secret of Monkey Island. Now, this game practically reinvented the entire point-and-click adventure genre. And while the game was never meant to be revolutionary, it became that, most of all due to the showing that a hard game can be produced with the never die policy, although you can die at a certain point, but I'm not going to demonstrate that, but I will tell you where that is. And of course, a very challenging puzzles and a very nice story. Hi, my name is Guybrush and I want to be a pirate. Yikes! Don't sneak upon me like that. I'm over this way. Well then, driftweed. Creepwood. Guybrush, Creepwood. I see. So you want to be a pirate, eh? You don't look more like a flooring inspector. If you're serious about pirating, go talk to the pirate leaders. You'll find them in the scum bar. Gosh, thanks. I'll do that. Bye now. I'm off to seek my fortune. Where did you say those pirate leaders were? In the scum bar! Right. Thanks. Part 1. The 3 trials. Well, the engine did get a few rehauls after Maniac Mansion, Zack McCracken and Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade, which was all for the better. But basically, you work with basic commands, like look at and then at the poster. Re-elect Governor Marty! When there's only one candidate, there's only one choice. Basically speaking, they based this on the common typing interfaces that Shara games were famous for. They only took away the trouble of typing everything and came up with a few basic commands. This would, of course, get even smaller in future titles of point-and-click adventures. You can take Deponia, for example. There you have only an action and a look feature. And technically speaking, you don't need more to have a very challenging adventure game nonetheless. Aside, of course, from the inventory, which is now still empty. Now, well, basically by clicking somewhere, I can make Guybrush walk to it. It was really up until the Adventure of Loom, which was released several times before on Monkey Island. You could die, then you would have to load a save game, or even get to a point in which the game was in an unwinnable state. Loom was the first adventure in which that was no longer possible, to die or to get in an unwinnable state. The game was actually really easy, and Shara really mocked that. You could even see that in Space Quest 4 with the parody game Boom that is in the sales box of the software shop there. But with Monkey Island, things would really change. Now, Ron Gilbert also wanted to make a more fantasy-themed point-and-click adventure, but he hated the classic fantasy with dragons and elves and dwarves and that kind of stuff. So he picked... Excuse me. So he picked the Pirates team. And of course, with a total loser as your main character, Guybrush Threepwood, the pirate wannabe, and a very strong yet funny villain in the ghost pirate LeChuck. And basically, yeah, it was just... you will merely notice that in some ways that it was more kind of a silly boys project than something serious, and yet it was of course a commercial title, so it had to be done professionally. So in some ways it only works for the better, and well, we will see soon enough, huh? Now you do see when I hover with the mouse over the door that open highlights. That basically means that the game creator thought that opening the door would be the most logical course of action, and when I press the right mouse button, this would just immediately happen. Now, before doing anything else, let's go a bit in the back and just wait a short while. Of course, this is the Scum bar. It is named after the scripting engine. Scum stands for Script Creation Utility for Maniac Mansion. And of course, Maniac Mansion was the first adventure game by LucasArts, so the scripting engine was originally written for Maniac Mansion. Well, with the cook gone, I can safely enter the kitchen. I don't have to be afraid that he will get back or something. That won't happen. But I had to get back here in the back in time before ouch! Got it! It doesn't really matter if you stew the meat or not, by the way. But I do need meat, and I do need that pot. Well, now I need to get rid of that bird. Because if I try to catch the fish, then he will refuse. Yeah, well, no more fish, so the girl will go away. And that is all I have to do in the kitchen for now. Of course, those who have played Monkey Island 4 will know that the Scum bar would eventually be replaced by the Lua bar. That is a reference to the fact that Monkey Island 4 was written in the Lua programming language. So basically the bar kept being named after the scripting used in some ways. Well, talking to the important looking pirates is entirely optional, but it is nice to do. What you be wanting, boy? I want to be a pirate. So what? Hey, don't forget we are short on help because of this whole LeChuck thing. So no pirates needs no swag, and no swag means no grog, and we are getting dangerously low on grog. special skills. I can hold my breath for 10 minutes. Well, alright, but you don't become a pirate just by asking. You'll have to go through the 3 trials. What 3 trials are those? The 3 trials every pirate must pass. You must master the sword, and the art of thievery, and the quest. What? Treasure hunting a sea urchin. Right. So you must prove yourself in all of these 3 areas. Swordplay, thievery, and treasure huntery. Then return with proof that you've done it. And you must drink grog with us. Grog, grog, grog. Now, I read something about grog. The stuff actually exists, but not in the way that this game presents it. It is actually just water and rum. However, it seems that a serious article appeared about how poisonous grog would be, but that the writer didn't realize that the kinds of poison were actually jokes from this game. But I must say, what this game states that would be in grog is kind of scary. What's in that grog stuff anyway? Grog is a secret mixture which contains one or more of the following: kerosene, choline glycol, artificial sweeteners, sulfuric acid, rum, acetone, red dye number 2, scum, axle grease, battery acid, and or pepperoni. You can not only imagine it's one of the most caustic volatile substances known to man. The stuff eats right through these mugs, and the cook is losing a fortune replacing them. Sorry. This is also a hint for a puzzle later in the game. Well, don't tell me more about all that stuff. That is really not really relevant, but I can explain it myself. For the mastering the sword, I must beat a woman known as the Sword Master in sword fighting. With the art of thievery, there is the idol of many hands, which is in possession of Governor Marley, and I have to steal it from her. And treasure hunting, well, there is a treasure hidden somewhere in the forest, and I must dig it up. Well, that's basically all there's about it. Meanwhile, deep beneath the Monkey Island, the ghost pirate Jack ship lies anchored in a river of lava. what it is that you disturbed me for. Yes, well, we have a little problem on Melee Island. Problem? What possible problem could there be? I've got all those sissy pirates so scared of the sea they're afraid to take a bath. Well, there seems to be a new pirate in town. Actually, he's a pirate wannabe. Young, inexperienced, probably nothing to worry about. Don't even know why I disturbed you with it. I'll have him taken care of myself. Wait, I'll handle this personally. My plans are too important to be messed up by amateurs. Yes, sir. Well, no, I don't need to be there. What I will be needing in the first place, before I can do anything, I will need it for all 3 trials. And that is money. And for that money, I'll have to go to this clearing. And, well, there we will find a circus stand. Yeah, well, these are just 2 insane brothers who are arguing about who is the one being fired off into the cannon. And now they're trying to convince me to have myself shot with the cannon. You already see it coming. I really have to do this, whether or not I want to. See that cannon over there? All you have to do is get into the cannon, and we'll shoot you out of it. Across the room. Quite safe, actually. So, what do you say? How much will you pay me? How about 478 pieces of 8? Well, like I said, I have to do this, and this is the only spot in the game where I will actually get money. Of course, I have a helmet. What sort of idiot do you take me for? Let's give the pot to these idiot brothers. Of course, never use a cooking pot as an helmet. Well, put on the helmet and get into the cannon. I will take care of the rest. Echo! Echo! Of course, I was supposed to land in that crate of hay, but that didn't really work the way it should. Well, where's my helmet is, of course, a pretty obvious thing to answer. It doesn't really matter what I say. Those Insanity brothers will react the same. I'm Bobbin. Are you my mother? That's a reference to Bobbin Threadbare, the main character of Loom. And looking for your mother is basically the main objective of Loom. Of course, I already did a non-commentary version of Loom, and I don't remember doing a commentary version video of Loom, but I really had to look through what I did or what I didn't do because I really don't remember. I have made pretty many videos by now. Well, at least that covers the money. Well, let's see. Now, I won't get very far here, as Guybrush will refuse to go any further without a map or a guide. All I need are these plants. And combine those plants with the meat, so I have meat with condiment. And with that I can actually start on the task to master the art of thievery. It doesn't matter in which order you take on the 3 trials, as long as you do all 3 of them. Yeah, the piranha poodles, as they are called. Let's give them some meat. Of course, those plants are in it, and that will have some effect. Important notice, these dogs are not dead, they are only sleeping. No animals were harmed during the production of this game. Well, basically, it's now just opening this door and entering this, and now you will see, yeah, this looks like a job for Fester Shintop. Basically, everything that happens now, you will see a lot of comments appear below. Even some comments that are not even in the comment section. Like this, hypnotize. Basically, all I have to do now is wait. I'm not doing anything right now. All the comments you see being entered are just scripted and supposed to be funny. Look at tremendous looking wax yak. Harry Yak wearing some wax slips. Yeah, the typical things an adventure player would try, even though you can't do anything with it. Okay, here is Guybrush back, but I still cannot yet do anything. Now I will get some items here. Most of them are actually useless, and I will actually lose most of them along the ride. There are two of these rides I must take care of, and the second part is yeah, pick up heavy chair, use heavy chair with sheriff. Well, the only thing I need is a file. Well, I don't have to worry about those piranha poodles, as they will keep sleeping for the remainder of the game, or at least the remainder of the part of the game that I can still access that mansion. You gotta get me out of here. I'm a victim of society. Not to mention helistosis. Yuck! Hey, it's hard to keep my bread minty fresh when there's nothing to eat in here but rats. And well, that tells me what I need to do next. Ahoy there, fancy pants! Well, basically, for all three trials, I got an object that I can buy here. Of course, a sword. That is, of course, needed for the sword fighting part. The shovel is needed for the treasure huntery, as I need to dig it up, of course. And for this task at hand, I need bread meats. What do you want? But in order not to having to get back here all the time, I will buy the other objects as well. Well, that is 100 pieces of 8. That does seem a lot considering that I only had less than 500. But there are not many things I need money for anyway, so it's basically only these three things. Of course, there will be something that will cost me 5,000 pieces of 8, but there is a puzzle for it to get to that amount of money, since I never had that much from the start. Yeah, now that I have this sword, on who can I test it out on? That is a way to get to the sword master, but that is right now not important. And of course the bread mince. That's only one piece of 8. And for the time being, I am done here. I can ask him about files, but he will only tell me that he is sold out. This is not the place to get the file, but of course you already saw me going to jail. And we know the cliche stories of prisoners using files to get out. Ooh, Crocomint! How refreshing! Thanks! So, have you come to release me? Now, let's say, who are you? And then he will introduce himself as Otis. That just makes it more personal to talk about him and not having to call him the prisoner every time. Why are you in jail if you're innocent? I was framed. I didn't touch the stupid flowers. What flowers? The yellow candies and anemone flowers in the forest. It's against the law to pick them. Oh, jeez, I'm in trouble now. Now, of course, he will deny having one. Do you think I'd be in here if I did? He wants something against the rats. Well, let's give him the gopher repellent. It was quite obvious, wasn't it? This isn't really the hardest of tasks. The harder part actually comes more later on. Open cake. There's a file in it. I've got the file. Well, and now we are in for the second ride, and basically the game will handle this automated once more. And then I use my manual of style to stylish confetti. But at least I got the idol. Thought you could get out with the idol of many hands, did you? Look, I can explain. So can I. You poisoned the governor's pet poodles. They're just sleeping. You broke into her house. The door was unlocked. And stole her most valuable piece, one of her most valuable pieces of art. No, you've got it all wrong. Oh, really? Well, let's hear your explanation. Yeah, the third answer, it belongs in a museum, is of course a reference to Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first Indiana Jones film, which happens also to be a Lucasfilm production, just like Monkey Island. So, yeah, he says it belongs in a museum. That's right, it does. What? You heard me, Faster. The real question is, how did he get in here while you were on guard? Just go away, Faster. I can handle this. Hm, I'll deal with you later. Sorry about him. He's new. I'm Governor Marley. Governor Elaine Marley. So my idol belongs in a museum, huh? Well, the most intelligent things to say are now down here. Of course, those who are familiar with the Monkey Island series know that Guybrush falls in love with Elaine. And the, well, uneasy love between the two is actually a kind of, how to say it, something that goes through the entire series. After all, Elaine Marley is not the most easy kind of woman to handle, but then again, since she's a governor, I would be surprised if she was. Your face is too sweet. I see. You're obviously not in the mood for idle chit-chat, are you? I suppose you've got many more exciting things to do. I won't take up any more of your time, Mr. Threepwood. It's of course a very brilliant first impression. I really wish I knew how to talk to women. Well, don't we all, Guybrush? Don't we all? Where do you think you're going, Threepwood? I was going to put this idol in my safe deposit box. Oh, really? I know a much safer locker you could put it in. Davy Jones' locker. Hand over your sword. Of course, Davy Jones is often named as the captain of the Flying Dutchman, although in the actual legend it was Willem van der Decken. My plans for the governor are by far too important. Well, remember that line, as perhaps that hints to something important, and if you are actually playing the remastered version, in which voice acting has been added, then you may hear something peculiar about the voice of Vesta Shinetop. That is also an important hint. But let's not spoil it too easy, huh? Too early, huh? This may turn out to be a pretty good day. Well, this is the only spot in which you can die. After all, Guybrush can only hold his breath for 10 minutes. If we wait 10 minutes now, he'll be dead. Actually causing, well, not an official game over. He will just float dead in the water and you can't do anything anymore. Getting out of here is easy though, just picking up the idol. Since Fester confiscated my swords, there is a new one here. It won't be present if I didn't already buy one in the store. So don't think getting a sword for free by not buying it will work. You're live, Governor! Hey, you can talk! Who'd have known? What are you doing here? Come to finish the job? No, I came down here to save your life. Hester wasn't acting on my orders when he threw you in there. You came down here to rescue me? I didn't even think you liked me. Well, our first meeting was a little awkward. You seem to have trouble forming complete sentences. But then again, so do most of my citizens. But I'm not one of your citizens. I'm a drifter, a nobody, a would-be pirate. Who would have known or even cared if you'd let me drown? I would have, Guybrush. Oh, Governor. Oh, Treatwood. Oh, Elaine. Oh, Guybrush. Love Muffin. Sugar Boots. Honey Pumpkin. Blunder Bunny. Kiss me. Yeah, and that is where it goes too far. I guess being a beautiful woman on an island of pirates is not very easy. I feel this sudden urge to complete the trials. Quickly! Well, the first one is of course by now completed. And that leaves the art of sword fighting and the art of treasure huntery. Well, let's first get to treasure huntery. That is excuse me, but do you have a cousin named Sven? No, but I once had a barber named Dominic. Of course, the joke is that in the voice acted version of Monkey Island, Dominic is actually the first name of the guy who voiced Guybrush Threepwood. Rare, very rare. Only 100 pieces of 8. Oh. This map is what I need to get the treasure from the forest. Now from this point on, I may already meet some pirates on the map, but I cannot do anything with them yet. Oh yeah, of course I can look at the poster and then he says it's my little panda bunny. And let's go up the mountain and to the path. Yeah, there you can see the pirates. But like I said, I cannot do anything with them yet. They are part of the sword fighting trial. Let's look at the map. I think I've been ahead. This is no map. It looks like dancing lessons. Back 2, 3, 4, left 2, 3, 4, right 2, 3, 4, left 2, 3, 4, right 2, 3, 4, back 2, 3, 4, right 2, 3, 4, left 2, 3, 4, back, cha cha cha. Well, the first back is of course a bit hard to determine. Back, left, right. Left, right. That is basically how you need to read this map. Left, right, back. So left, right, and back. Only one way to go. Right, left, back, cha cha cha. Okay, right. Left and back. And this is the place where I want it to be. The legendary lost treasure of Melee Island. This carefully reproduced piece of Melee Island's history has delighted thousands of would-be pirates and their families for generations. Remember, there are other pirates on this island. Go easy on the treasure. Leave some for the next person. I'm not gonna do the latter. Well, this shouldn't take too long. Well, of course, too long is rather subjective. Hours pass. I think I hit something. Oh boy! It's a t-shirt! Not my size, but a nice one nonetheless. I guess I should put all that dirt back now. More hours pass. Of course, pretty strange how that X is looking perfectly this way. Anyway, the second trial has been completed now, and that brings me to the third and last trial, the art of sword fighting. However, for that I need to cross this bridge. Stop. You must pay a toll. Look behind you, a mouse. I'm not falling for that. Scuttle along, you scurvy sea slug. Now, stand aside, troll. I'm a mighty pirate. You are no pirate. Why, the town drunk could out-insult you on his back. And probably would. I can out-insult anybody, you brainless plain doppelganger. I once owned a dog that was smarter than you. Take that and stick it to your repertoire. Of course, I need to remember that insult, as insults is what the art of sword fighting is all about. Ah, a red herring! Pass! It is a bit hard to see on this lower resolution graphics in the remastered version of this game. The page will be by far more detailed, and then you can see that it actually depicts George Lucas himself. Captain Smirk, Big Buddy Pirate Jim. Prices. Sword training, 30 pieces of 8. Cannon firing, 160 pieces of 8. Balls extra. Grappling hook, 130 pieces of 8. Hook extra. Well, so this is the place where I can get my instructions about sword fighting. That's interesting, isn't it? Well, let's go for it. I think I'll knock. It'll only be polite. What do you want, you wimpy little spineless maggot? Could you make me the best sword fighter on melee? You mean not counting the sword master? Counting everybody. I want to be the best. Better than the sword master? You? You could never be half of the sword fighter Carla is. Even with hours of hard work and sweat and blood. I remember fighting side by side with Carla at Port Royal. The local constabulary had his whatever had us cornered. It looked like we were done for, but then she said, "But I decrease. You just don't have what it takes." I do so have what it takes. You do not. I do so. You do not. I do so. Hey, I like your spirit. I'll do what I can. Of course. It'll cost you. What have you got? I've got 30 pieces of 8. Say no more. Say no more. Let's see your sword. Okay, check it out. Yeah, that's a nice one. Let's get to it. Okay, maggot. Why don't you whip that sword out and let's see what you can do with it. Boy, you fight like a dairy farmer. I usually don't waste time with a vermin like yourself. But seeing as this LeChuck thing has put a cramp on business, I've got no choice. I need the money. Yes, I can see this is going to take some special measures. I just want you to know, I don't do this with everybody. It's only because I feel that special student-mentor pieces of hate bonding that I'm going to these lengths. I'm going to put you up against machine. Is this going to hurt? Yikes! Come at me. Don't be afraid. You won't hurt me. Watch your footwork. Watch your footwork. Use your force against the foil ball. Hours later, you're starting to get the hang of it. More hours later. Not bad. You've got good form. I'm gonna let you into the true secret of sword fighting. Sword fighting is kind of making love. It's not always what you do, but what you say. Any fool pirate can swing a sharp piece of metal around hoping to cut something. But the pros, they know just when to cut their opponent with an insult. One that catches him off guard. You see, kid, your wits gotta be twice as sharp as your sword. Let's try a couple of insults out, shall we? Okay, imagine this. We are fighting up a storm. Just like Carla and I were doing at Port Royal. Then there's a sudden break in the fighting, and I say to you, you fight like a dairy farmer. You respond with, well, of course, you always see it coming. All four answers are incorrect, but I need to pick one anyway. So, Shamara, I can see we've got a lot of work to do here. You should have responded with something like, how appropriate! You fight like a cow! You see, it's razor sharp wit like that wins fights. Let's try another. Imagine this. You're trapped up against a wall. My sword has just slashed 2 cuts into your face. And I say, soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab. You respond with, of course, once again, all 4 answers are incorrect, but I have to pick one anyway. Well, let's just use the last response, which is of course utterly stupid. How appropriate, you fight like a cow. No, 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 no. That was the response from the last insult. It doesn't even make sense when used here. A correct response to "Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab" would that be something like, "First you'd better stop waving it around like a feather duster." 3. Razor sharp. I suggest you go out there and learn some insults. I can't help but I feel like I've been ripped off. I'm sure you're feeling something similar. Well, and now the pirates that are walking around on the world map play their part as before I can fight the swordmaster, I must first learn some insults. It's only about insults and their responses. This is one of the best places to wait for pirates, as that is mostly where most of them come past. Dirty, rotten pirate, stinking pirate, bloodthirsty pirate. I think this stinking pirate will be. As soon as he touches me, then this happened. And by saying my name is Guybrush Tripwood, prepared to die, I'm actually challenging him to a sword fight. Well, soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab is one, of course, that Captain Smirk taught me. You fight like a dairy farmer. Same story. I once owned a dog that was smarter than you, was given to me by that troll guarding the bridge, and actually the only one that I officially don't know the response to. Basically, any insult I hear will be added to this list, and as soon as my opponent makes the correct response, that correct response will also be added to the list, and that way I have to be the kind of the insult king. If I say, "Boy, you're ugly, what an idiot," or you call yourself a pirate, I will always lose that round. And basically, I have to win 3 rounds of insults in order to win the fight. Well, that will the first time never happen, but let's just give it a strike. The trick is to most of all use those insults for which the answer is not yet given in the response list. I once owned a dog that was smarter than you. I'm rubber, you are glue. That is the incorrect response. The correct response would have been, he must have taught you everything you know. Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab. First, you'd better stop waving it like a feather duster. But yeah, I already had that response, so that won't do me much good. I'm not going to take your insolence sitting down. The correct response would have been, your hemorrhoids are flaring up again, eh? But, well, that response is not yet there. However, now that this insult is used against me, it is added to the insult list. I got this scar on my face during a mighty struggle. I hope now you've learned to stop picking your nose. Unfortunately, that response is also not there yet. Well, what can I do against this dirty, rotten pirate? Of course, I have 3 insults to which I do not yet have the response in my response list. So let's see if I can get those. Yes, he must have taught you everything you know. That is the correct response. Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab. Well, we already knew that one, don't we? First, you'd better stop waving it like a feather duster. I got this scar on my face during a mighty struggle. I hope now you've learned to stop picking your nose. That makes 2 responses. I've spoken with apes, more polite than you. Yeah, there's no response to that yet in my response list. So I'll have to wait until the response. I just wanted to make sure you feel comfortable with me. And well, stinking pirate. Move out of my way or I cut my way through. Well, let's just take this one. I've always wanted out of my basic responses list. Let's see. I'm not going to take your insolence sitting down. Will he start about hemorrhoids? No, he won't, so no response added. I've spoken with apes more polite than you. I'm glad to hear you attended your family reunion. Is what he won't say, so that is... I hope now you've learned to stop picking your nose. Yep. A new insult. Oh, he uses the same one against me. Same response. Something that might happen. Well, that's my first victory. I must have won 3 victories or Carla won't even fight me at all. What you be wanting, you scurvy lover? Well, it can become quite boring to deal with this, but I'm afraid it's the only way to go. I've spoken with apes more polite than you. Oh yeah! I'm not going to take your insolence sitting down. I'm shaking! I'm shaking! Well, of course, I only have insults now to which the proper response is already in my response list. This one doesn't give any resistance at all, giving me a pretty easy win. Which is actually unfortunate at this point. As I need more insults. Of course, 2 victories, so 1 more victory. So I can at least challenge the sword master at all, but I have too little insult responses to actually stand a chance. So let's see if this guy does at least want to give me. Yes, your hemorrhoids are flaring up again, eh? So that's at least one more insult response. There are no words for how disgusting you are. Well, yes, there are, but you just never learned them. Fortunately, I didn't learn that response yet. My handkerchief will wipe up your blood. Well, I don't have the proper response. So I will lose this fight, but that's in this case only a good thing. I got two more new insults, so I can learn their responses. The insults are not what wins my fights against the Swordmaster. The Swordmaster will only be insulting me, and I have to respond properly. But of course, I will need the responses in order to get things done. Let's see. There are no words for how disgusting you are. I'm shaking, I'm shaking. Um, yeah, I don't have the family reunion response yet, so let's. I won't get it now anyway. Oh yeah, my hanky will wipe up your blood. Oh yeah! Well, now I will win the fight, and he will exclaim that I'm good enough to fight the Swordmaster. Well, I'm not. I can tell you that because I have two little insults. But at least I can challenge the Swordmaster now. My handkerchief will wipe up your blood. I'm rubber, you are glue. Well, that's useless. This is going to take forever. I'm glad to hear you attended your family reunion. At least that is one more. Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab. Well, let's deliberately give the wrong response, as that will cause him to give me another insult, and hopefully one I don't have yet. And you make me want to puke is an insult I don't have, meaning I will lose this fight, but that just doesn't matter anymore. I got my 3 victories, so I can at least challenge the Swordmaster. So that's so basically I got more than when I would have won this. You make me want to puke. You make me think somebody already did. Now, not I'm rubber, you are glue. You make me think somebody already did. There are no words for how disgusting you are. Oh, yes, there are. You've just never learned them. No, not oh yeah. My handkerchief will wipe up your blood. I'm Rama, you are glue. Well, you're good enough to fight the swordmaster. Well, I do want a few more responses before I even try, but... It's very important. Let's see... Yeah, my handkerchief will wipe up your blood. Oh yeah! You make me want to puke! You make me think somebody already did. Oh, at least that's a new insult response. I've spoken with apes more polite than you. I should have... Yeah, I have the correct response, but I will deliberately answer wrong. Perhaps I will learn a new insult this way. No, because I already have that insult and I don't have the proper response yet. That will mean that I will lose this fight. But at least I have one more response. Now, I will go for two more responses at least before I will try to challenge Carla. Then I don't have all the insults, but at least I have then enough to make a small chance. My handkerchief will wipe up your blood. I'm Rubber, you are glue. The odds are not with me today. You make me want to puke. You make me think somebody already did. Well, that's one more. I'm not going to take your insolence sitting down. Well, I do have the proper reaction, but let's just throw it once more, hoping that I will learn a new insult. People fall at my feet when they see me coming. Yes, that's a new one. Even before they smell your breath? Of course, I don't have that response in my response list yet, but it makes another insult. Well, that's good. Well, what can this bloodthirsty pirate teach me? People fall at my feet when they see me coming. Even before they smell your breath? Yes, that's one more insult response. This is the end for you, you gutter crawling cur. And I've got a little tip for you. Get the point? Fortunately, I can't say that yet, but that would have been the correct response. Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab. Let me see. Yeah, the handkerchief is also one that I don't have the response to yet. But he won't respond correctly to that. giving me no victory yet. There are no words for how disgusting you are. Oh yes, there are. You've just never learned them. And that makes 2 more responses. Well, I can try my luck against Carla, hoping that she will not use any too much insults that I don't have the response to yet, but I fear for the worst. Of course, there is one person who knows where to find the Swordmaster. It never fails. I step away from the counter for 2 seconds and some idiot already ringing that stupid bell. What do you want? I'm looking for the Swordmaster of Melee Island. The Swordmaster of Melee Island? I don't know. Nobody knows the whereabouts of her secret hideout. Nobody except me. I have to go and ask her if it's okay to show you the way. I guess I could hike all the way over there. Once. Be right back. And don't touch anything. Don't worry, I'm not planning to. At least, not yet. Well, you see the shopkeeper walking. So basically, all I have to do is following him. There he goes. I'd better just stay here and eavesdrop. Well, and, hello again, Carla. I thought I told you to get lost. I'm actually here on business. This kid came to my store, see? Face it, crusty old latch. You'd make any excuse just to come out here and bother me. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, cut it out, I'm sick of it. Take a hike and don't come out here again. Someone might follow you, and then I'd become another melee-eyed tourist attraction. Hey, it's your loss, baby. Yeah, right. Now scram. You dare approach the swordmaster without permission, which I surely didn't give you. My name is Guybrush Threepwood, and I've come to kill you. Nothing like being honest. I can tell by the sarcastic expression on your face that you've been fully trained by Captain Smirk. Let's get it over with. There are no clever moves that can help you now. Oh yes, there are. You've just never learned them. Do I already have that response? My last fight ended with my hands covered with blood. I hope now you've learned to stop picking your nose. As you can see, the Swordmaster has her very own insults with the same reactions. Now I know what filth and stupidity really are. I don't think I... no. Well, I can lose a few. I've got a long, sharp lesson for you to learn today. And I believe that was, and I've got a little tip for you, but that is not in my repertoire yet. My wisest enemies run away at the first sight of me, even before they smell your breath. I will milk every drop of blood from your body. How appropriate, you fight like a cow. I usually see people like you passed out on tavern floors. I believe that was this one. And I won. I was a bit in luck with the insults she chose. Well, I hope you're happy. You come back and brag to all your friends about how you beat the Swordmaster. You'll need proof. Here, this will convince them. And with that, all the 3 trials have been completed. Now, should this not have been the first trial to not have been the last trial to complete, but the first or the second, or if I would have lost against the Swordmaster, then the insults the Swordmaster used against me would have been added to my insult list. But if I use any of them against the pirates, they would just respond with, "Hey, that's not fair. You're using the Swordmaster's insults, I see," which would guarantee me a winning strike, but it is pretty pointless in the longer run. However, as I completed all 3 trials now, all the pirates should have disappeared from the world map, as the second stage of part 1 will now come. truly begin when I enter the village. And what see we there? Or what do we see there? That was English Dutchified. A disappearing ship? What was that? I'm so confused. Hey, what are you doing just standing around? The governor's been kidnapped. What? By whom? LeChuck's got her on that ship that just sailed off. I'm afraid we've seen the last of her. And why don't you think we'll see her again? LeChuck's taken the governor back to his hideout on Monkey Island. I'm afraid that no pirate on this island is brave enough to follow him there. But hey, good luck. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. They left this note. You can have it, but I don't think you'll like what it says. Attention, pirates of Malay. Your governor is alive and well at my side, as she was always meant to be. If you try to find us, you will not only meet with horrifying disaster, you will only meet one of horrifying disaster. Yours truly, Captain LeChuck. I wrote that wrong. I read that wrong, but I just got out of bed. Perhaps you didn't notice, but I made this video in 2 parts and merged them together. And the first thing I did was the swords training, so... Well, basically, there are now 2 main things to do. Get myself a crew of 3 members, excluding myself, and to get myself a ship. Well, let's get to the most annoying part first, the ship. And then I need to go to these lights. Howdy! I'm Stan of Stan's previously owned vessels. And I'd like to stand my hat to make you a deal. What sort of craft are you looking for? Big, little, fast, slow? You want it, I got it. And if I don't got it, I'll get it. I want to make you a deal that you're happy with. Because if you're not happy, I'm not happy. But I know you're going to leave here happy today. How do I know? Just look at all these ships. I've got something for everyone. Come, take a look around. So, tell me, what are you interested in looking today? Of course, this is Stan, and Stan would be present in all Monkey Island games. He's part of the furniture. In the second Monkey Island game, he would be selling coffins. In the third Monkey Island game, he would be selling life insurance policies. And in the fourth Monkey Island game, he's selling real estates. And I guess he is also present in later Monkey Island games, but I never played those, so that's not important right now. Of course, it's the best ship you've got. That will be far above my budget ever in the game. Something not too expensive, but built to last. Well, that's the ship I need to go to. Oh, I really don't have that much to spend. They have no fear. Every ship I sell is a bargain. But if you're looking for real steel, I just got the boat for you. Walk this way. This here is the famous Sea Monkey, the only ship to ever make it to Monkey Island. And come back with everyone on board left alive. Or should I say anything? You see, the previous owners of this ship were two adventurous pirates. They set off, like many before, to find the legendary secret of Monkey Island. And like many before, they disappeared forever. Their fate a mystery. Almost as mysterious as how this ship returned to Melee Island without a single human on board. Some claimed it sailed back by a crew of chimps. Chimps? There aren't any chimps in the Caribbean. Oh, shut up, it makes a good story. Anyway, this baby's mine now. That is until someone makes me an offer. Let's talk about money. Your money. Well, money is no object. That is, of course, a lie. Actually, I was hoping to get one on credit. Sorry, kid. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. That's just old Stan's philosophy. If you got a job, the storekeeper in town might extend you some credit. Then we'd have something to talk about. Unless, of course, you've already got some other means of financing. No, I don't have that. So let's reject this ship for now. That's the only thing I can do. However, when it comes to the credit, Stan must have mentioned it or the storekeeper won't do business with me. Now he won't do business with me anyway, but I can't even opt to try without Stan noticing that. Well, actually, I'd like to go and think about it some more. Sure, think it over. I don't want you to feel pressured or anything. Bye now. Of course, the big question is how he would pop up like that. Of course, you may notice Stan's code on which the square pattern does not really match the laws of physics. That was back in the day due to technical limitations. However, in Monkey Island 3, where they did have the technical possibilities to make it more fitting to the laws of physics, they did purposely not as a kind of reference to the original Stan, And in Monkey Island 4, in which everything is three-dimensional, they really had to improvise to make it possible, as it really became a trademark for Stan. Well, Lights has now changed to use Ship Emporium. Well, let's return to the Swordmaster, as she is one of the 3 crew members that I need. And she is actually the easiest to get, as she doesn't have any requirements at all. The other 2 I may have to do something for. You've already got the T-shirt. What do you want now? The governor's been kidnapped. What? That's ridiculous. Oh no, this looks bad, very bad. I'm getting a ship and crew together to go rescue her. I have a feeling I'm going to regret this, but count me in. I'll meet you at the dock. And that makes the first crew member. Upon recruiting the first crew member, I will get another cutscene. Meanwhile, having just returned from Melee, LeChuck and his crew find their old hiding place in the underground rivers of Monkey Island. Captain, sir! I just stopped by to congratulate you on your kidnapping mission. Did I do the correct voice that I did before? I don't know. Captain? Captain, are you alright? Never felt better. And how fares our prisoner? Oh, yes, the prisoner. We had a little bit of trouble. Trouble? Nothing to worry about, sir. Everything's under control. She escaped a few times, but we have got her locked up in the brig. No one's getting in or out of there. For your sake, I hope not. With years of planning and almost destroyed by my death, I'm not taking any chances now. You took care of Mr. Treefort then? Guybrush Treefort will not be a problem. At this very moment, he's 20 feet underwater. Probably bloated up like a fattened pig. His eyes being eaten out by crabs. Fish pecking at his fingers. Kinda makes you wish you were there to watch. Yes, sir. Yeah. You sure there's a nut? Now go check on the road. Make sure it's locked up tight. Aye, Captain. Well, let's go to the village. And let's get my second crew member. She's just on the way for the shopkeeper. I need multiple mugs to do this. Well, I can just ignore the cook. He is, well, he can give me some hints, but I already know everything he has to tell. Of course, I can pick up another hunk of meat, but I do not really need it anymore. Now, of course, what was said about the grog, as that is what I need to get my second crew member, goes, it burns all the mugs, and the cook spent a fortune replacing them. So that was a hint for this part of the game. This gives me a Mako grog, but that will soon be a melting mug, and then be a mug near death, and then be, yeah, I don't remember the last stage, but after that it will disappear. Basically, it's just pouring over the grog from one mug to another. Eee, great! A drink! I'm real thirsty. Yikes! Whoa! And to think I used to drink that stuff. I'm free! Oh, yeah, thanks. If there's anything I can ever do for you. Well, actually, there is something. I'm looking for brave people to join my crew and sail off to Monkey Island to rescue the governor. She's been abducted by the fearsome pirate LeChuck and is being held against her will somewhere in his secret hideout. I see. Yes. LeChuck, you say? Well, yes, of course. We must sail to Monkey Island and... Hey, look behind you! A three-headed monkey! I can't believe I fell for that. Well, don't worry. Um, we do have our second crew member now. Let's see. Yeah, that guy blocks the way to the governor's mansion. It's not really important. Yeah, he will complain about me running off while he was looking for the swordmaster. Mm, well, I don't have to sit through that. What do you want? I am interested in procuring a note of credit. You are you? Got a job? Yes, of course I do. All right. Let's get one of my notes and we'll fill it out. And of course, now I need to look at the combination to the safe. Let's see here. What did you say your occupation was? I'm an acrobat with a traveling circus. You're one of the Fettuccini brothers? Where's your silly accent? And where's your silly slippers? Come back when you've got a job in a credible business. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I just need an excuse to get him away, so let's just lie about looking for the swordmaster. He will complain, but eventually go away. And I don't have to follow him in to fight Carla, as after all, I have done all my business with her, and I can pick her location from the world map now anyway. Be right back, and don't touch her for anything. Well, I'm not going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Hmm. Nothing in here but this note. And yeah, that's the wrong door. This is the residence of the voodoo lady. However, this is the only installment of Monkey Island where I don't need to talk with her. I only needed that chicken that was in our house. I don't need to be in the scum bar anymore. Yeah, the islands. Now let's have a look at the chicken. A rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle. Well, that pulley is what I need to get on the other side. like visitors. Who are you? The governor's been kidnapped, yeah, and this is Meat Hook, and Meat Hook will be my third and last crew member. However, he has a little task for me to prove my bravery, which is more of a joke than an actual challenge. Yeah, now if we only had a captain, well, what about me? You? Ha ha ha, that's a good one. Hey, I was serious. Oh, really? Really? Okay, let's see you prove it. Look this way. There's something in here that I want to show you. Something horrible. Something so horrible that I stay awake at night just thinking about it. But I don't mean to scare you. I'm sure a big brave guy like yourself will have no problem with facing this monster. After all, it's much smaller than the beast that bit off my hand so many years ago. Let's just hope you're quicker than I was. Oh, I just remembered something. I never got around to feeding him this week. Silly me. I'll let you open this last door yourself. Just let me get out of your way. Wait, getting cold feet? No, it's just that I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You're supposed to open that little door. And if you're brave enough, touch the beast inside. Oh, is that all? Okay, go ahead. If you got the guts. Well, and a lot of alternative commands just to touch a little parrot. I don't believe it! You're a brave man after all. You faced the beast that I've feared all these years. You had the guts to do what I never could. I feel like such a coward. I'm not good enough to be on your crew. I'm not even good enough to swap your decks. Oh, come in, Mr. Meathook. Oh, Mr. Meathook. You're a big, strong, good-looking guy with a great tattoo. I can make it talk. Wanna see? Maybe later. Anyway, you can swap my decks anytime. Really? Sure. I can still be on your crew? Just pack your stuff and meet me at the dock. Oh, thank you, thank you. I won't let you down. Maybe I get a chance to show you my whole tattoo routine when we are at the sea. Oh, this is sounding better and better all the time. Oh, really? Forgive me my reciting errors. If I would actually voice these characters for real, I would be able to take multiple takes on each line I would speak, and I don't really have now. And if you, at least for PlayStation 1, play Luna 1 and 2, then you would actually get a blooper reel at the end. I actually also added a blooper reel at the end of my fairy tale game. So you can hear what can all go wrong while voice acting. So I guess I'm still doing pretty well. Well, all I need now is the ship, as I only have the letter of credit now, but of course I need the ship itself, and of course then I need to go to the used ship emporium. And yes, I will have to deal with Stan once more. It's terrible, but it's Lord. Come on, Stan. Hurry this up a little. Yeah, the silly hat, the coat that with the motives on it that are defying the laws of physics, and of course the tapping feet are most of all his trademarks that he always would have. Yeah, could I see that sheep one again? I knew it, I knew it. You just can't get her out of your mind, can you? Walk this way. Well, now I just need to haggle down, as my credit only goes to 5,000 pieces of 8, but the ship actually costs more than that. It doesn't matter if you had credit problems in the past. Divorce, bankruptcy, gambling mishap. I mean, who am I to judge, right? Well, if the storekeeper trusts you enough to give you a letter of credit. Of course, Stan doesn't have to know that I stole it. You must be an honest man with a steady income, right? Yeah, well, very honest. I'm a pirate after all. I mean, I passed the 3 trials, didn't I? Even though the important looking pirates made a run for it when LeChuck made himself known. mm, 10,000 pieces of 8. Well, that is twice the price that my credit allows me to. I just walk away. He will call me back. Well, let's have myself seduced back. I mean, I really need that baby anyway. Well, what do you think it's worth? 9,000. 1,000 off. Now that trick only works twice. And after that he won't lower the value anymore. At least not by simply walking away. 8,500 pieces of 8. Well, that's still far too much as I only have 5,000. Well, let's talk extras. Extras? You want to talk extras? Great, this baby is loaded with extras. For instance, did I tell you about the porthole defoggers? Well, I think I can live without that particular piece of junk. Okay, but don't blame me if you run into an iceberg or something. This is, of course, an allusion to the Titanic disaster. But wait, there's more. Did I tell you about the anti-lock anchor? Well, I think I can live without that particular piece of junk. Sure, throw safety to the wind. But wait, there's more! Did I tell you about the wreck and pinion rudder? Basically, I have to go through all these things and say that I can live without that particular piece of junk, causing him to make another sarcastic remark. And eventually, he will notice the porthole defoggers once again, and then I basically know that all the extras have been removed because I don't need any of them, all of those. Of course, mutiny is an ugly word. The tachometer. Hey, does your wife know you're such a cheapskate? But wait, there's more! Did I tell you about the elevator made with wood from Burgundy wine casks? What would I need such a thing for? Burgundy wine casks. Yeah, I guess it is kind of decadent, isn't it? Yeah, it surely is. Okay, but I'm telling you, barnacles hate simulated food. But wait, there's more! And then we are back at the porthole defuckers. That means that I have all the extras removed. Enough about extras already. Okay, where were we? Well, what do you think it's worth? 58,000 pieces. Well, 5,800 pieces of 8. How does that sound to you? Well, that's still more than I have, but it won't get down any more than that. Okay, it's killing me, but okay. And I thought I was going to give my children Christmas presents this year. Oh, I almost feel sorry for you. Just let's take it out of here. I'm glad to get rid of it. Yeah, I've got to run these numbers by my boss. It's actually the only time that I remember him mentioning his boss. In the other installments, he appears to be quite a businessman on his own. Of course, the fact that he mentions his boss does not mean that his boss actually exists or that he is not referring to himself. After all, I may not be an honest man, but who says that Stan is an honest businessman? I mean, an honest businessman would not call his customers sucker. No, I already have 3 crewmen. And since I got my own ship now, yeah, take note of this croc machine. It will play a role later. Well, let's make a safe game. Not that anything can go wrong, but hey. Well, as soon as I get to the village, the finale of the first part will take place. So watch and enjoy the ending. And I would like to see you back next week at the same time at the same channel, where I am going to play and comment on the second part of Monkey Island. And of course, if you hate my voice commenting, then just scan through my entire channel, as you will also find a version without any commentary. Bye bye, folks.